Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to the Audio Analyst. There were so many product introductions at this past high-end show in Munich that it was simply impossible to keep track of them all. But one of the more interesting premieres, and perhaps less publicized but no less important, took place in Hall 4.1, room E109, sponsored by Wood Audio, where my longtime friend and colleague, Joe Kubala of Kubala-Sosna Research, was introducing their latest flagship cable series, the Ovation. For those of you who may still be unfamiliar with the remarkable accomplishments of Kubala-Sosna Research, the company was the brainchild of Howard Sosna and Joe Kubala, and was the logical extension of their time working together and collaborating on bettering their system's performance, and in particular, bettering cables. They launched the company in 2004, and I had the pleasure of meeting Joe at CES 2005 through our mutual friend and colleague, Jim Murad of Blueport Jazz. The Ovation cable launch in Munich represents the 11th cable product series from KS Research. As Joe will talk about in our upcoming conversation, all of their cable product series names rhyme, sort of, as they all end in shun. Starting with their entry-level lines, we have imagination, anticipation, and persuasion. Then come the product lines that feature their house-specific optimized architecture, which is trademarked. Their lines beginning with fascination, temptation, and expression, and moving on to their esteemed statement lines, including emotion, sensation, elation, and realization. In our conversation today, Joe goes into the KS Research development process and the amount of time and effort necessary to conceive, formulate, and then confidently introduce a new and clearly superior, more refined product. Starting in the mid-2000s, when Emotion, their remarkable disruptor product that firmly established Kubala-Sosna Research's position and stature as a premier cable manufacturer, was their pinnacle cable, he details how it took the next 5 odd years to feel confident in introducing Elation in 2009 as a true advance over their existing and very successful predecessor. He further shares that it then took another 8 years to introduce their most recent flagship, Realization, in 2017. And now, after another 8 years, we have the arrival of Ovation. Oh, and we will learn about another new KS Research product in today's conversation. So let's get to our chat from Munich. Welcome, everybody. We are at High-End Munich 2025. This is Saturday of the last High-End Munich scheduled to happen. We're going to be moving to Vienna next year. But we're here with the co-founder and president of Kubala-Sosna Cables, my friend Joe Kubala. I've known you. We just talked about it. We met around CES 2005-ish.
It's got to be 20 years.
Yeah. And it's been a good relationship, buddy. You've been a pretty good friend as well as an audio buddy. But the reason I'm here today to present this with you guys and to bring Joe to us, he's got a couple of new interesting things to announce. And one, we made some jokes around 2005 or 6 with the E-naming stuff. And I won't go into it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, all of our names rhyme in a sense. Yes.
Yeah. But this is the official launch of Ovation, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
They're available for order now.
Excellent.
First ship will be about July 1st.
You got to sit down here to show us, don't you?
I do, actually.
Do you want to talk about them a little bit? Tell us.
Sure.
Because these expand on the Revelation, yes?
The Realization.
That's okay. Realization.
Yeah.
This is your flagship line now.
Yep. Yeah. It is a challenge in any business to keep trying to, raise the bar kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So our first, you mentioned 2004, et cetera.
Yeah.
and by the way, this is now our 22nd year in
Yeah.
business, but
Yeah.
we had Emotion as a flagship that changed 5 or 6 years later to Elation. That's how long it took us to better the performance of Elation. And then from that point until realization was about 7 to 8 years. And again, it gets very difficult when you have a product that you feel is
The best you can
performing
do.
well,
Yeah.
the best you can do, to improve it. And the improvement, in our mind, should not be in just one area. Like we shouldn't be able to say, well, the base got better, but the top end's a little frizzy now. Or whatever.
Yeah.
No, our goal is to increase the performance envelope.
Absolutely.
And so that's what makes the task difficult, because you're not just trying to solve a problem, you're trying to create a new thing.
Sure, absolutely.
And so it took us from 2009 to 2017 to introduce realization. So here we are now in 2025, finally with something that we feel accomplishes the goal of increasing the performance, meaning that everything gets better, not just one thing gets better. And so we now present Ovation, which will be a now solid.
Sorry, I'm a wise ass.
No.
Nobody knows.
No. That was creative and a sound effect at the same time. So we're introducing Ovation at this show. These happen to be prototypes, but literally built the way the cables will be built. And everyone who has heard them so far, I know you haven't had an
Not yet.
B yet.
No.
But everyone who has heard them so
Bill-
far
Bill
agrees, yes,
Still raved.
that they do improve everything.
On
So
the
that's
realization.
hard to believe that something as good as realization can be improved upon to this degree. But I think we've done it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, I spend a lot of time at GTT Audio, so I'm used to the realization loom and what it can do, because Bill has it pretty much in every system.
Yep.
And I've not heard a product from you yet that I wouldn't say was deserving of your attention at any point. I mean, when we first met, you knocked me out with what you were doing, and I can't wait to hear these. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'll shut up.
No, but maybe to fill in a little bit of what you've talked about there is all of our products sort of have the house sound kind of thing, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you can't make every product exactly the same. So some could be a little cooler than others, but there's nothing that is significantly off kilter.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a cable that you'd say, this is for solid state or this is for tubes. We fit everywhere because we sort of sound like nothing in a sense. We get out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so...
That's a good description, Joe.
That's the way
It's a
I
really
see
good
it.
description.
Yep. And we've never changed the formula of a cable. So the Emotion, our original flagship, the cable on which we built the company, basically.
Yeah.
Not basically, specifically.
Yeah.
But that cable today, when you order one today, it's the same as if you ordered it in 2004. So we don't have the upgrade Mark II, Mark III kind of thing. When we have a better idea, it becomes a new SKU.
And what I really appreciate about you is it's not like you change a tiny thing in the formulation of a cable and say, okay, this is the new cable. I know you well enough to know that until it hits all your benchmarks and you're like, this is overall a closer view, a cleaner view, a more open view into what we're trying to do, you're not going to put out a new line. I've known that about you and that's why
That's
7,
why it
8,
takes
9
the
years
time.
between.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, so many companies, especially electronics and loudspeaker companies, here's the product. 10 months later, here's the Mark II, and they change a capacitor. And then a year later, here's the Mark III. So I really respect what you do, buddy. I think it's great, and I'm dying to hear.
Well,
this.
and we try to do what we're doing in terms of, for instance, Emotion not changing. None of our products have changed because we're trying to protect the investment of the owners of the cable. They all of a sudden don't own an outdated product.
Right. Well, and the advantage to it is, too, let's say the guy's digital only. He buys an analog front end, turntable, phono stage. He can buy a matching cable of the brand that he's had, and it's a coherent loom. Again,
Exactly.
It stays. It's a good idea to do it. So.
And then meanwhile, we do, you can improve your system by walking up the line.
Sure.
And we have a very fair and aggressive trade-in program, upgrade program, where you can give us back your cables for a fair value and put
It's
that money
remarkably
towards...
fair.
Yeah.
I've seen the trade-in values. It's
Yeah.
remarkably fair. More so than I can't think of anybody that's even close on trade-in.
It's been very effective.
Yeah. Now there's another cool product,
There is.
the new XPander. Do you want to talk about it?
So we have an expander line, and it was developed when Elation was our flagship cable. So it's essentially an Elation level product, but we did change ideas inside that with the conductors we were using, and those ideas eventually led to realization. So the original expander is like Elation Plus, if you will. Okay? Well, in that line, we've had 7 and 10 unit outlets available.
Right. Yeah.
We're now introducing a 4. So with that technology, Expander 1, let's call it at this point, you can get 4, 7, or 10 outlets. That's now been introduced. What's also being introduced right now is Expander 2. And this is now going to use the Ovation level conductors and philosophies inside to create a higher performance level, and again improves it in every way.
Great. Well, now there's I think it's a 10 outlet unit that has 2 different.
Oh, I should talk about that.
Yeah, I mean that to me.
So we have a 5 outlet. There's 5 and 10.
Right.
We have a 5 outlet that has an IEC, of course.
Right.
And we use 20 amp IECs for both power handling, and it's a better connection.
Sure, it actually is. Mechanically, it's a better connection.
And so we have that available, or we sort of make a mirror image of that and create 2 5s in one chassis for a 10, but now each side has a power cable. So you can differentiate between high draw and low draw, or digital and analog, or one monoblock over here and the other monoblock over there.
But one
chassis
and it lets you isolate, like you said, analog from digital, or line level from power.
However,
it's a really good idea. There are only a few companies who have ever even considered doing that, in my experience. So, Mr. Kubala, thank you so much, buddy. It's always great to see you. It's kind of a bittersweet show here because this is our last time.
For those that are familiar with our newsletters over the year or whatever, I came to the first Munich show in 2008, and it blew me away.
Yeah.
These are not the best rooms for sound. There's a lot of glass, but it's a business-to-business mecca.
Yeah.
And hopefully that part of it won't change with the move to Vienna next year.
We can hope.
Yeah.
And Vienna, I've only been there once, but I spent days Ubering around to every site that Beethoven had visited that I can think of. So.
And if you ever visit, don't miss Musikverein.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Or the State Opera House.
The State Opera House. Yeah. The Vienna Opera House, which, by the way, is right across the street from where the Cantor Theater was, where Beethoven premiered
I did not know that.
The Ninth Symphony in 1824. Where they tore as soon as the Symphony Hall was finished. About a year later, they tore down the Cantor and built an apartment complex, which is now the Soccer Hotel. So
that reminds me of New Jersey, because whatever they knock down in New Jersey right now, they're putting apartments up.
Joe, thank you so much, buddy. Safe travels. We'll see you again soon.
So long,
Thanks
everybody.
for watching, everyone. Take care. My sincerest thanks to Joe for making time before the show opened Saturday morning to sit down with me and share the news of these new flagship product introductions with us. And know that I'm looking forward to discovering and then sharing my experiences with these new Ovation and XPander Kubala-Sosna Research products with my next visit to GTT Audio and Video in Long Valley, New Jersey. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my companion website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.